They spent years reminding me I was worthless, telling everyone I'd collapse without them. But the day I walked away, I didn't just prove them wrong. I made sure the world finally saw who the real monsters were, and trust me, my revenge wasn't loud. It was surgical. My name is Ava Mitchell, and for most of my life, I was raised to believe one thing. Without my parents, I was nothing. Not loved, not supported, not guided, just owned. My parents, Martin and Grace, weren't normal strict parents. They were controllers, manipulators so subtle the world thought they were angels. Everyone adored them, the church, the neighbors, even my teachers. They knew how to play the perfect family behind closed doors, though. They micromanaged every breath I took, what I wore, who I spoke to, what grades I got, what dreams I was allowed to have. And every time I hesitated, even for a second, they'd repeat their favorite line, "You'd be nothing without us, Ava." The strange thing. For years, I believed them. By the time I turned 20, I had no phone that wasn't monitored, no friends they approved of, no money I earned myself. Every paycheck from my part-time job went straight into a family fund, which I later discovered was their personal savings account. I didn't even know what my social security number was until I was 22. My life wasn't mine. But things shifted the day I met Lena, my coworker at the cafe. She had this bold, fiery personality that terrified my parents instantly. They tried everything, forbidding me from seeing her, guilt-tripping me, even threatening to kick me out. But they made one mistake. They said the words, "If you walk away from us, we'll ruin you." That's the day something broke inside me, or maybe something woke up. For the first time, I decided I wanted my life. And if they wanted a war, I'd give them a war they couldn't even imagine. The first crack in their perfect mask came from something small, a bank statement accidentally mailed to my job instead of home. It showed $38,000 in transfers from my paychecks over 3 years, money they stole, money I earned. Suddenly, things became clear. They didn't want me dependent out of love. They wanted me dependent out of profit. I felt sick, angry, but most of all, determined. I spent nights searching tenant rights, financial abuse laws, identity protection, and everything else they'd kept from me. What I found made my hands shake. Not only had they stolen my income, they had also opened a credit card in my name with $11,800 debt. That was the day I stopped being scared of them. I started documenting everything: conversations, threats, emails, texts. I was building a case. The more evidence I collected, the more I realized I wasn't just escaping. I was going to take back everything they stole and leave them drowning in their own lies. I got help from a legal aid volunteer who explained everything. Financial control equals a recognized form of domestic abuse. Unauthorized credit equals identity theft. Confiscation of wages equals wage theft. Their threats to ruin me equals coercion. But he said the golden words: if you can prove they took the money knowingly, you can sue. That became my mission. Over 2 months, without them realizing, I collected every stolen paycheck record, recorded their admissions. It's OUR money, not yours. Printed the credit card statements, saved screenshots of threats. Found proof they forged my digital signature, all while acting like the obedient daughter. The disguise nearly killed me, but the thought of justice kept me alive.
One night, my father walked into my room without knocking, something he'd done my entire life. He demanded to know where I'd been, who I'd been talking to, whether I was planning something. I froze. If he even sensed rebellion, they tightened control to the point I couldn't escape. So I lied, calmly, confidently, for the first time in my life. He stared at me long enough that my stomach twisted, and then he smirked. "You'll always come back to us, Ava. You don't survive without me." That was the last time he'd ever say that to me, because the next morning, I walked out of that house and never went back. Where did I go? Straight to the police, straight to a lawyer, straight to freedom. The day they were served with legal papers, I wish I could have seen their faces. But I heard about it. I sued them for identity theft, wage theft, emotional and financial abuse, fraudulent use of personal information, damage to credit score. My lawyer demanded repayment of every dollar they took, compensation for credit damage, mandatory restrictions preventing them from contacting me, in order to release all documents they kept from me. Their perfect image shattered instantly. Neighbors whispered, church members questioned, family members gossiped. The golden couple exposed. And that wasn't even the best part. 6 weeks later, I received a call from my lawyer. We got them, Ava. My parents settled. They agreed to pay $52,000 in damages, $38,000 stolen wage repayment, credit debt cleared, legal fees total $104,000. I used that money to start the life they swore I'd never have. I moved states, got a new job, got an apartment with big windows and sunlight, something I never had at home. Got friends, got therapy, got peace. Months later, my mother emailed me, "We just want to talk. You didn't have to destroy us like this." I didn't reply, not because I was angry, but because I was free. And when you finally escape people who spent your whole life telling you your worth, silence is the most powerful revenge. People say revenge is toxic, but sometimes revenge isn't about hurting someone. It's about taking back what was stolen. Your life, your voice, your future. They said I'd be nothing without them. Turns out, I became their worst nightmare. A woman who didn't need them and never would again.